Good morning, boys. It's Miss Casey. I hope you guys are doing well and had a good night yesterday. Happy last day of summer school. Can you believe that? 5 weeks went by already? That is so crazy to me. All right, so we're going to finish reading Ungifted, which I'm super excited about. We have 2 more chapters, and then we will do first we will do our space fact, and then we will read. So I'm going to say good morning to Jack. Hi, Jack. I hope you had a fantastic birthday yesterday. And good morning, Luke. Hi, Luke. I hope you're having a good day, my friend. All right, so our calendar sentence is Thursday, August 6th, 2020. Very exciting. All right, and the weather today is sunny. And today we have a high of 84 degrees and a low of 60 degrees. I just got back from a walk with the dog and it is gorgeous outside. It's not hot, it's nice and cool. There's a breeze, so you should definitely get outside today. All right, and our space fact is, which I thought was, I always say, which is very interesting, but it is really interesting. So it says that footprints on the moon will be there for 100 million years, which is so cool. So it says the moon has no atmosphere, which means there is no wind to erode the surface and no water to wash footprints away. This means the footprints of the Apollo astronauts, along with spacecraft prints, rover prints, and discarded material, will be there for millions of years. Wow, that is interesting. All right, so let's get started. In our last 2 chapters. I'm so sad. All right, so this chapter, so we have chapters 26 and 27. So this one is called Unchallenged, and it's Noah Eucalyptus. So yesterday, the last chapter was super quick, and it was Abigail Lee, who always very much disliked Donovan, and she told us that she was the one who cheated on the test for him, or took the test for Donovan. So that was very interesting. So we will see what Noah Eucalyptus has to say. All right, Noah Eucalyptus, IQ 206, very smart child. I'm not sure how the clip made it to YouTube. The organizers said that the official video of this year's state meet would never be released because our disgraceful, thuggish behavior degraded school robotics programs everywhere. That's in quotes. Somehow, though, the video of Tin Man vanquishing the competition appeared the very next day under the title, Robots Behaving Badly. I would have called it the second most fantastically awesome blow for justice ever struck by an automaton after the Terminator turned good. But that might have been too long. People on YouTube don't want to read, they want to watch. You have to keep it simple to generate traffic. Example, Robots Behaving Badly had already surpassed Tin Man Metallica SquarePants exposes teacher's underwear in barely a week online. I felt a little insulted that this new clip had so easily bested my most popular video. But it was okay, since I was the co-star of Robotics Behaving Badly, bounding onto the scene at the end to beat the Cold Spring Harbor entry into submission with a folding chair. It was a great action sequence. Every bit was as exciting as the real steel chair battles in WWE videos. I could be wrong, though. After all, I've been wrong before. The old-fashioned dot matrix printer in the main office made a screeching noise as it spat out my class schedule. It sounded like victory. The secretary tore off the page and placed it on the counter along with my student card and locker information. She smiled at me. New in town? I've lived here all my life, I told her. It just took me this long to get thrown out of the gifted program. This great day never could have happened if I hadn't been wrong about the sex of Katie Patterson's baby. Just the thought that when I calculate, interpolate, extrapolate, infer, deduce, adjudge, analyze, derive, figure, reason, or summarize something, there's a chance that I might not be right, filled with a sense of infinite possibility. Surprise didn't come exclusively from YouTube anymore. It was a gift. I owed this, too, to Donovan. Without him, I never would have crossed paths with Tina Mandy Patterson. 7 pounds, 14 ounces. I'd suggested Marie Curie Patterson, but Katie said no. Tina would be named after the star of the day of her birth, Tin Man. I pointed out that since Tin Man had been disqualified, he wasn't technically the star of the robotics meet or anything else, but Katie overruled me. And anyway, Orchard Park Patterson was really a silly name for a baby girl. I'm not big on babies, but I had to admit that Tina was a very cute specimen of one. Subscribe to my YouTube channel to see what she looks like. There's a clip of her spitting up on my shoes that's particularly excellent. It's my favorite because I got to hold her. Katie gave each of us a turn, so as long as we promised to wash our hands for 3 minutes uninterrupted. 1 minute would have been plenty given the strength of the antibacterial soap in the maternity ward, but I kept my mouth shut because I didn't want to miss my chance. Chloe got in trouble for hogging the baby. I thanked the secretary, gathering my things, and left the office. I was wrong. It still tickled me to think about it. And for sure, that's what had given me the confidence to do what needed to be done to make this glorious moment possible. Noah? Came a voice behind me in the hall. I wheeled, and there he was, the author of all my good fortune, my former schoolmate and now my schoolmate again, Donovan. What are you doing here? He asked. I felt my chest swell with pride. This is my new school. He was shocked. They kicked you out of the academy. Because of the chair? Oh no, I replied. They didn't even mention that. It was because I helped you cheat on the retest. First, he looked surprised, then angry. I knew it. If you weren't a genius, you'd be an idiot. You shouldn't have done that, Noah. I wasn't going to be able to hang on in there any much longer anyway, test or no test. Why would you risk your whole school career to cheat for me? I didn't, I informed him cheerfully. I just said I did. His voice was rising. But why? Miss Bellavacqua told me cheating was a serious offense and whoever did it would be expelled. How could I pass up an opportunity like that? Donovan groaned. You're crazy. And the worst part is, now I'm never going to know who really did it. I shrugged. Sure you are. It was Abigail. No way! His eyes bulged. Abigail hated me from the first day I walked into the lab. Why would she help me? It's strange to me how often I have to explain the obvious to people. For your robot driving skills and your sister, Abigail has always been about one thing. Abigail. I don't believe it, Donovan said stubbornly. Believe it. I recommended. I had to erase all the computer evidence that she did it when I created the fake evidence that I did it. He took this in with a mixture of amazement and resignation. You're crazy. I don't care, I replied readily. See, now that I go here, I can say that. Who cares? Not me. I could not possibly care less. What do I care? It felt good, like I was unburdening myself of a great weight. He heaved a sigh. Well, congratulations, I guess. You got your wish. You managed to get yourself booted out of the only school with half a chance of challenging you. I was honest. The academy wasn't very challenging either. More challenging than here, he shot back. This place is a slumber party for a guy like you. Maybe even a morgue. I shook my head earnestly. I was wrong about Katie's baby, and that means I can be wrong about anything. Challenge isn't going to come from any curriculum, no matter how hard they make it. It's going to come from life. That sounded pretty good, even to me. I felt the exhilaration of facing the unknown. I wasn't just heading into the future, I was taking it down. WWE style. I was Noah Euclid, version 2.0, and the best was yet to come. Then again, I could always be wrong. How awesome was that? He is a cutie. All right, last chapter. It is called Unlittered, and it's Donovan Curtis, IQ 112. The image was fuzzy at first. Noah pounded the keyboard of his laptop, and the picture solidified into a rugged face, obscured by goggles, a chin strap, and a very heavy black helmet. Interference crackled over the audio, and a loud motor roared in the background. Lieutenant Patterson. Noah ventured timidly. Louder. Lieutenant Patterson. My brother-in-law looked around in confusion. Who's saying that? Another member of the tank crew came into view, pointing out at us. Look, Brad, it's that kid from YouTube, the one that your baby puked on. Noah seemed to be pleased to be recognized. Nice tank. How's Afghanistan? Brad, it's Donovan, I piped up. We've got something to show you. Brad squinted through the goggles. Is Katie there? Is it happening? Katie leaned in front of the laptop. Hi, Brad. It won't be too long now. The tank commander was excited. Turn to the computer. I want to watch. Noah swiveled the laptop, giving Brad a view of the sterile white walls of the clinic, and also of Chloe, Abigail, Latrell, JC, and Kevin. At last, the image stopped on Dr. Ursini in a surgical mask. The other soldier opened his eyes wide. What's going on, Brad? Didn't this happen last week? Don't tell me they're going back in for the twin they missed. Noah made a final adjustment, providing a view of the patient. Beatrice, the chow chow, fat and round, about to litter. Beatrice, Brad cried, his voice choked with emotion. It's Daddy! Hang in there, girl! And his tank jounced along the Afghan terrain. Lieutenant Patterson watched, tears squeezing out from under the goggles, and his beloved pet deposited 6 tiny puppies onto the operating table. Compared to the 4 hours Katie had spent in labor, Beatrice had it easy. The whole thing was over in 90 seconds. They make dogs really fast, commented Noah. They're beautiful, Brad, said Katie in a husky voice. You missed Tina being born, but I'm so glad you got to see these little guys. Noah spoke into the laptop's condenser mic. Your signal is getting weaker. Are you near a mountain or something? That's classified, kid, Brad replied. I don't know who you are, but I owe you. Anybody who can Skype a tank in action has really got it going on. And I loved you in robotics behaving badly, the other soldier added admiringly. Then, with a burst of static, Afghanistan went dark. Transmission lost, Noah reported. Should I hack into another satellite? No, Katie decided. Leave them alone. They're working. That was how our human growth and development class turned into a canine growth and development, at least for one afternoon. The decision was made to keep a puppy for baby Tina and find good homes for the others. Chloe adopted one dog. I was kind of glad about that. It gave me an excuse to stay in touch with her, just to keep an eye on how Beatrice's kid was getting along. Noah fit in better than I expected at Hardcastle Middle School. Some of that might have been because I recruited the Daniels, and the 3 of us formed a bodyguard unit to keep him from being wedgied to death. Who knows what would have happened without us. We liked him, and Sanderson was convinced he was a master of Dorkido, a secret martial art practiced only by geniuses. But Noah was the biggest dweeb who'd ever walked the face of the earth. And while he insisted he could be wrong again at any moment, it hadn't happened so far. By special request from Oz, both Noah and I traveled by minibus to the academy 3 times a week for robotics. The plan was approved by Dr. Schultz himself, who was in a good mood because the insurance company had finally paid up and the gym was being repaired. What was left of Atlas had joined its celestial sphere. You see the dog? He just jumped up on the bed. What was left of Atlas had joined its celestial sphere in the administration's building sub-basement. I hoped I didn't have to polish that piece too. I still had 5.5 hours of community service to go. Dr. Schultz had put boxes in all the schools, soliciting suggestions for a new statue. I filled out a card for a Titanic memorial, a quiet nod to my ancestor and fellow survivor, James. Noah didn't mind spending a little time back at the academy because I was going to. And I loved the change of scenery and the chance to hang out and ply my joystick in the lab. I never confronted Abigail about how she had cheated for me on the retest. She definitely still hated me, but I had a sense that my reading on her personal grudge-o-meter had gone down a little. Maybe she was more comfortable now that all the cards were out on the table. She was still smart, and I was officially ungifted, except for robotics, part-time. We were working on Heavy Metal, a robot for next year's competition. We'd be in the high school division then, and hopefully no one would remember whose entry had busted up the middle school meet. Tin Man's rampage would live forever in infamy, but maybe the team behind him would fade into the background. Soon the riot would belong to Tin Man alone, and all that remained would be the question, what made the robot go berserk like that? Hey, I had that answer. It was the same wild impulse that could make a guy whack a statue in the butt, setting off a chain of events that reshaped the world, or at least my tiny corner of it. It was the part of me that Ancestry.com couldn't explain. I was working to control it, but sooner or later it would show up again and get me into twice as much trouble. You don't have to be gifted to know that. The end. That was a good book. And if you liked this book, there's also a second book, and I don't remember what it's called, but Miss Amy would know. All right, boys. I hope you have a wonderful summer, and I will definitely see you soon. The start of the school year, I will have to come make a trip to the middle school, but I'm so happy you guys are moving on, and I'm so proud of you. And yes, just enjoy the rest of your summer, and we will definitely talk soon. Love you, boys. Bye.